Well, hi again, everybody. Welcome back once again to another edition of On the Town with Suz and Doug. And she is Suz with the pretty glasses on, waving to you. I am Doug, and we are glad to be back with you again. And we're going to go back to our series of kind of looking back at some of our favorite TV shows, movies, entertainment of the past. And we wanted to pay tribute. We didn't get a chance to do it a few weeks ago, but one of the great comedians, one of the great TV show guys of our youth, Suz. He passed away. Nice run, though. He was 93, I believe. Bob Newhart. So we're going to pay tribute to Bob Newhart tonight.
Yes, and I love that show. I remember, being I remember being in elementary school and watching it, and through junior high, and I loved Suzanne Plachette
Right.
also, and
You were named after her, I heard, right?
yes.
You think your mom named you after her?
Absolutely, Miss Suzanne. Yeah, my mom, she fell in love with the name Suzanne. Yeah, it was like, and the story about she also went to high school with a girl named Suzanne, and she never heard the name before. So, but I know Suzanne Plachette. My mom did like. She liked her too. So yeah, she's a great actress. So yeah.
So she played Bob's wife in the show, who was a psychologist in Chicago. She was Emily Hartley, Bob Hartley and Emily Hartley. She was a school teacher like you were. You are, but you also you do other things now. But you were a school teacher.
Yeah, absolutely. That is real. Yeah, I loved her character. I really did, and she was so beautiful. Suzanne was such a pretty lady too. But all the characters and Bob, he did that. He just did that character of Dr. Hartley so well.
It really was great. I mean, I remember watching it too as a kid growing up in New York, and Saturday nights, part of that great Saturday night lineup when you had All in the Family, I think MASH, you had Mary Tyler Moore, Bob Newhart, and Carol Burnett
Yeah.
show all back to back, and that
Oh,
was a great night of TV.
absolutely. And it wasn't like, like there's some nights I remember, when I got older, there was nights of TV where you were like, even like the night Dallas was on, because the Dukes of Hazzard, it was okay.
Yeah, that was Friday
But
night, which was always
yeah,
known as a bad night for TV. Dallas really made that Friday night, for adults. Used to be good for kids when you had
yeah,
Partridge Family and Brady Bunch, but for
Brady,
adults, Friday night was death. But Dallas made it must-see TV, right?
absolutely. It was really amazing how Dallas really changed TV for Friday night for
Yeah.
adults and really made it fun. And, it was a show that I know even junior high and high school kids, college kids could get, but for adults especially.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we'll do another video on it. You and I just saw we finished up watching the series on
Yes.
Freevee. We watched
Yeah.
season 14 and we saw the finale episode. Well, we can do a separate video on that. And we also saw one of the return movies, the reunion movies. But
Yes.
we'll save that for a different video. But yeah,
Def-
Friday nights was Dallas night, and Saturday night was part of that great comedy lineup, and Bob Newhart was part of that. And of course, the premise of that, he was a psychologist, and all the kind of crazy people came in, but they weren't completely, he said he didn't want to be a psychiatrist. He said, let's make it a psychologist, because psychiatry deals with more serious things, so psychology could have kind of the wacky characters.
Absolutely. You could have it a little more and I
We're all a little quirky, so that's why he didn't want to make it a psychiatrist. So.
okay, because I always wondered about that, and maybe I'm wrong. I'm guessing like a psychiatrist can prescribe
Yeah, that
medication,
would be dealing more with depression and a lot of
like your
tough
mind,
stuff. So
brain.
for comedy purposes, psychology was
Yeah,
everyday quirks people were dealing with. So that made it
yeah,
funnier.
really cute. Yeah, I remember some of the, and it was really cute because it was like, it was just fun with his patients, and then Carol, I think she was
The receptionist
good.
in the medical building. She was the receptionist, but she also had to work for Jerry the dentist and
Oh, I remember
the
that.
other doctors on that floor. But yeah.
That was so good with Jerry, and yeah, the way that they did that, with the Dan. Yeah, it was just That was such a good show. I loved it, and how
It was
they
a
all.
great show because, like the Dick Van Dyke Show and Mary Tyler Moore, you had the home uh, comedy, where they were in the apartment, and Emily and Howard across the hall
Cute.
was Major Healy on I Dream of Jeannie.
Wow, that's right. Oh my
Uh,
God.
Howard
Yeah,
Borton, that was Bill Daly. And then you
um,
had the office comedy where you had, Jerry the dentist and the
it
crazy
was
patients came in. So you had kind of two shows in one.
it was really, really, and it was so clever. I know my mom, she loved that show, and my dad, he enjoyed it too. They used to, yeah, TV was just so good, and you didn't have to wait. Like, sometimes, certain nights of TV would be like a show that was really good, the next one not as good, then one
Right.
that's, they were all good. They were all
That
good.
might have been the greatest night of TV for about what, maybe almost 10 years. Yeah, there's
Yeah,
some shows that moved in and out. I think MASH moved to Mondays. All
yeah,
in the Family might have moved to a different night. But basically,
yeah.
from 9 to 11 was that Mary Tyler Moore, Bob Newhart, and Carol Burnett show block. Couldn't beat
It
that.
it was so good, and it was like entertaining, fun. Uh,
Family. I mean, I remember just sitting, in the living room because I didn't have my own TV yet.
yeah,
You sit in
yeah,
the living room and, mom and dad. Dad liked it. I don't know. My mom was kind of doing her knitting or something. I don't know if she enjoyed it as much, but dad liked it. My
yeah,
dad
yeah.
did.
And I think it was the same with my mom. She was always like kind of thinking or doing something,
Mom would
and
always have knitting going in the living room watching TV. So I'm not
but
sure how much she was paying attention to the shows, but she sat there.
yeah, and it was
But
really
dad
cute.
and I would laugh. So yeah,
It was really cute. Yeah, same thing with my dad. He used to like enjoy laughing, so he always liked All in the Family,
right.
Bob
Yeah,
Newhart. Carol Burnett was really good. That
yeah.
was that was a great show too. She was
Right.
so
Oh.
funny. I loved it. I loved her Tarzan. Carol Burnett, her like, oh, the way she would do that with the
Somebody in
call.
that little question and answer session, maybe once a
Oh
month, would always
my God.
say, "Do the Tarzan," and she always did it. Yeah,
Oh, she was so good at that. I wish I could do that. She went, oh, I
that's pretty
can't do it.
good.
Oh my gosh, she was so good at that. I loved it, the way she could do that. And
Yeah, well, we got to do a separate video on Carbonette. That's a whole separate video. We'll do something on
she,
her too.
she was so good.
But,
Oh,
yeah,
she's
Bob Newhart, of course, that show, and then he had the second show
yeah,
where he was the innkeeper in Vermont, which
yes.
lasted, I believe, even longer than the first one, which was a great show. Did you ever watch that one?
I watched a few episodes, so I'm guessing where that one was, he left Chicago and then he went to
Yeah, it
Vermont.
wasn't the same character. It was a separate series, but
Yeah.
he was a different character. I think his name was Dick Loudon in that. It wasn't even Bob, but he was
Okay.
innkeeper
Different.
in Vermont. But that made the possible to have a lot of crazy people come in the inn, and same kind of premise. Crazy people would come in, and then remember
Yeah.
those three brothers, the Daryl, and
Oh
whatever the
yeah.
other guy's name was. Yeah,
That was so funny. Yeah, yeah, I remember that with the brothers, and then it was really cute. Now I was trying to remember the years that the second Bob Newhart show.
yeah, the first
re-
one went from 72, I believe, to 78. And then I
Okay.
think the second one came in like 80 to 89, something like that.
Oh wow.
Yeah,
Okay.
81, 89, something like that. So that one lasted a little bit longer.
Wow.
It was like
Yeah.
a 2-year gap between them.
Oh my
And
God.
remember how that one ended? The
I
second
know.
series ended? It was a famous ending.
I think you. I would love to see that episode. The last that would be. I know you said. Was it like they had the episode where he was in Vermont and at the end he wakes up and
Yeah,
he's in.
the Vermont, the last episode, they had the inn turns, I guess Japanese businessman bought it and turned it into a golf resort.
Oh
And
wow.
Bob's character gets hit by a golf ball, and
Okay.
you see him like fall into the ground, like he gets knocked out, and then the next thing he wakes up and he's in the old Chicago apartment with Emily in the bed, famous bed scene, bed
Oh
sheets
my.
everybody recognized, and then she wakes up and says, "What's the matter, Bob?" And he says, "I had this crazy dream. I was this inn in Vermont." It was classic ending. Yeah.
Wow. It was kind of like almost like the Bobby. You yeah like
Yeah,
another.
but before, I don't know if before or after, but yeah, whatever. Yeah, it was the whole
Yeah.
series was a dream, but it was a great ending. Yeah,
Oh.
he said his wife actually came up with that idea like several years before that. So if you're going to end the show, make that last episode a dream sequence. So Bob's wife in real life came up with that idea. That's what he said.
Wow.
Yeah.
That is really, oh my gosh. And they're still in their Chicago.
Because everybody recognized the bedroom furniture, the bedroom sheets and everything in the old apartment. So yeah, right
Wow.
away. And then the woman turns around and it's Suzanne Plachette, and everybody clapped.
Wow. Oh my gosh. That is so
Probably one
cool.
of the greatest endings of a series of all time.
That
Yeah,
is so, I would have preferred that to the way like that even Dallas ended and
yeah, we
the,
were watching the last episode. It was okay, but it wasn't great.
I'll be honest. I think for a show, let me word it this way, of that magnitude,
Yeah.
Dallas, I think it deserved a better ending than
Yeah,
that.
we won't go into it too much now, but they kind of ended it like a little bit like the Christmas Carol, where Joel Grey plays. We don't quite know what he is at the beginning. Is
Yeah.
he an angel? JR thinks he's an angel. It turns out he's probably not, and he shows him what his life would have been like if he never was around. What other people's lives would have been like if he never was around. Because
Yeah.
JR looks like he's going to commit suicide at the beginning of the episode.
And he kept,
Everybody left. Everybody left South Fork, and his businesses were all falling apart. Yeah.
and you know what? The clue, like that I kind of had, like that he wasn't a good guy, was the way he kept saying, "Do it." Why don't you, because an angel
Right.
wouldn't say that. And usually, from what I was like, I learned, and things that are not good usually happen
Angel's
when
not
you're
going to tell you to do that. No.
now, and you know what? Like something's
But yeah, we won't go into it now. We'll do that
now,
separate.
and
That's a
and
whole
I
bit.
heard like sometimes when you're alone, that's when these creepy things can
Not
happen.
good.
Y-
No. But he's
Yeah,
okay. Larry Hapman was okay.
he
So in
was
case
okay.
you're worried.
He was okay, everyone. So that was, yeah, that
But
was.
well, speaking of Newhart again, I had a chance, and I thought you might have heard a couple of his interviews. I had a chance to talk to him on
Oh,
radio when he came to Sarasota
oh,
at the Van Wezel maybe 10,
yeah.
12 years ago, and it was really nice. He was really nice. I couldn't believe how nice. I mean, I knew he was a nice guy, but very. I think we did like a half an hour, and it was just like
Wow.
talking to somebody you knew forever. So those are up on YouTube if anyone wants to listen
Oh,
to them. It's good. Doug
absolutely.
Miles Media. It's on our YouTube channel, but really nice guy.
Oh
Yeah.
my gosh. Now, did you both talk about the show, like when you
We did
talked
about
to?
a half hour. We talked just what we talked about now, the ending, and then the original show, and a lot of different things. I think on Ed Sullivan. We used to go on Ed Sullivan a lot. We talked a little bit about that.
Wow, that
Yeah, really
was
nice. Yeah.
that. He
He's
seemed
like a
like,
regular guy, you know. You never got the impression he was kind of like some comedians in show business, or a little egotistical, or
yeah,
But I never got the impression with him. He seemed like a nice guy when he was on with Johnny Carson and as
that's
a
so
guest.
fantastic.
Yeah.
Yeah, not. Yeah, I saw somewhere he was on, and he was really funny. Yeah, he was really good
Yeah.
with
Yeah, his
Johnny.
bit was a telephone bit. The one-sided conversations.
Yeah,
Make believe he's talking on the phone, and that was his claim
uh-huh.
to fame. He kind of came up with that kind of
Yeah,
routine. So that
that is
was
really cute. Oh my
fun.
God. Yeah, he was definitely
Uh,
very just a real talented comedian, and he seemed like just like a down to earth, nice guy when you would see him
yeah,
and
yeah.
interviews
I
and.
always liked him on Johnny Carson, and then he and Don Rickles were close friends. They would
Oh
travel
wow.
all over the world together. The wives and him and them two guys, and so they
Wow.
were good friends, but totally different comedians. We should do a thing on Rickles too. We'll do a video of
Yes,
Rickles
the
time.
funny guy.
But
Oh my
they were
gosh.
the best of friends. Yeah.
Oh my God. And they're yeah, because it seems like Don Rickles did the one where he kind of, it was very, very funny. He would do like
We make
insult.
fun of you.
Yeah, yeah. It
But it
was
was
like
funny. Yeah.
it was funny though. It wasn't
Yeah.
anything
Bob Newhart didn't do making, he wasn't a make fun of comedian. He was more a routine comedian.
routine. It was funny. Oh my gosh. Yeah, I liked it. And the show was just so good because with his humor, with like he would have like a serious look, but then like it
Yeah.
was
Real
like
deadpan and a little bit of a stammer,
yeah,
the funnier. Yeah.
yeah, it
Yeah.
was really, oh my gosh, it was so cute. I always wondered, like in the original series, was he from Chicago? Was he
He was from
supposed
Chicago in real life. I guess
okay.
that's why they based it in Chicago, the first one. Yeah.
Oh wow.
And he's
Okay.
from, he was, I think he said he was an accountant. He didn't really
Okay.
want to do that, but and then he wrote some of these routines, and I think he did some on radio, and then somehow
Yeah.
somebody said, "Why don't you record it?" And that's how it took off. He recorded this famous album,
Oh,
Button Down Mine of Bob Newhart. I had that we had that in our home. My father must have bought it or something. I remember
wow.
listening to it as a kid before he had this TV show, and it was all these routines of him on the phone. It was really funny.
Oh
Yeah.
my gosh.
So
Yeah,
that was
yeah.
like what brought him to fame in the early 60s. And then he did
Oh,
like Dean Martin show. He was on there, and Ed Sullivan. And then he got the series in the early 70s.
oh my gosh. Yeah, and I could see he did kind of look like an accountant. That is
Yeah, he
really,
said he wasn't a very good one. That's why he figured he better try something else.
oh my gosh. That is
He always
so,
said if he thought if he came within a couple dollars, it was okay. But you can't do that as an accountant, you know.
yeah, oh my gosh. Yeah, yeah. Well, that's great.
Glad he didn't stay in accounting because he was funny.
Oh my gosh, I'm glad that yeah, because yeah, that is so cute. That is adorable. Yeah, it's amazing like some of the actors and actresses who went into certain things and they decided they didn't really like it and then they chose acting or they went into
Yeah,
acting.
I think at that point, you know, they were led there because the talent had to lead them there. Some people maybe got into show business that shouldn't, but that's another video.
Absolutely, absolutely. I'm
But
so
Bob
glad.
Newhart, he was one of those guys that
Really
he wrote
talented.
these routines and really just kind of built the whole career out of like basically the telephone routine, you know,
Oh my gosh, I would
or
that.
having the crazy people talking to him. You just kind of look at him funny, you know.
Yeah, oh my gosh, that is so fun. I would love to hear it. That sounds really, really cute.
Yeah, I'm
I,
sure it's on YouTube. Just look up Bob Newhart album or something. I'm sure they're up there. You know,
wow,
funny.
that
Yeah.
that is so cool. It would be fun to yeah, listen to that. Yeah, actually, thank you. No, because I didn't know
And a lot of
about
people are probably not aware of it. You know, if you just saw a lot of people watch the Bob Newhart show in what TV Land now, or whatever it's on. They didn't know
yeah.
his his previous history. But I just happen to know that because my father we had the old albums in the basement. We could listen to records, and I don't know. My mother bought it for my father.
Oh,
However we got it, that's how I
that is
used to
so
listen to it.
cute. Oh my
Yeah.
gosh, I love it.
So
Oh
thanks,
my,
Mom and Dad, for buying that originally, so I could find
absolutely.
it.
I love it. Oh my gosh. Yeah, it's amazing how you can start through albums and
Company
yeah,
albums, which they don't make anymore. Nobody does those anymore.
absolutely. Yeah, it's
I don't
like
think.
I
Uh,
think Steve Martin had one of those too. He had a
Yeah, I remember that one, Wild and Crazy Guy, whatever. I remember that was the biggest thing. I was in high school, I guess, then.
well, yeah.
I remember buying it, and then I was listening to it. And I said, "Oh, this isn't that good."
Yeah, yeah, it was his humor. I
Maybe
know.
that's sacrilege to some people listening, but I just never thought it was that funny.
Yeah, it was like I remember the cover of the album and it had some balloons
He had the
or
balloon around his head and the
yeah,
arrow through his head, whatever. Yeah, yeah.
it was
He always said later on he was just trying to be bad on purpose. That was like the whole joke was him being a bad comedian, but
yeah.
somehow it took off that people liked watching him be bad.
Yeah, like a bag of it.
He's really
Yeah.
more of an actor, comedy. He's already a comedy actor. You
Yeah.
know, I think when you and I saw him in Pink Panther and a couple of movies, he's good at that. But I never thought he was funny as a stand-up. But he wasn't supposed to be. He said, I wasn't trying to be funny. I was just trying to be bad." But people liked it.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, yeah. That other guy who used to yell all the time. I didn't really
Oh,
like.
Sam Kinison. Yeah, no, he was. Well, he had
Uh,
problems. He died young
I
because of
didn't
his
really
problems.
understand the humor with that. I mean, it was all right, but it was like, yeah, it was
His
like,
whole bit was, although he was funny in the Rodney Dangerfield movie. Did you ever see that?
okay,
Back to
yeah,
School, where he's a
oh yeah,
professor, he's yelling at Rodney. He had a little funny scene in that. People remember that.
yeah, yeah. He probably could be. It was just,
But yeah, his act was, a lot of cursing and yelling. That's all
yeah,
it was.
probably the curse thing. I was kind of, yeah, and
Basically, ragging on women in his life that treated him wrong. That was the whole act. But he had drug problems, unfortunately, and he died in a car crash. He was pretty
oh,
young.
I heard he
Yeah.
was like in his 30s or he
I don't
was,
think he was at 40 yet. Yeah, late 30s, I think he died. Yeah.
wow, he was really young. That's sad. Oh my gosh. Yeah, yeah.
It really wasn't a surprise, though, when you heard that. Well, I guess.
Yeah, it was just like that other guy on Saturday Night Live.
Oh,
The guy,
Belushi.
Yeah,
Oh, believe,
yeah,
and then Chris Farley. Yeah,
yeah.
same thing.
Chris
Farley.
Farley too.
Yeah, yeah, same
Wow.
thing. But
Yeah,
that's
it
another
was.
show too. We'll do that later.
Yeah, absolutely.
But yeah, we just want to remember Bob Newhart. I believe he was 93,
Wow.
94, or 94, I believe. So a good run. His wife, I think, had passed a year before. So, but he
Oh,
was in pretty good shape to the end. I saw an interview he did maybe a year or two ago. So, but we want to remember Bob Newhart. Good family man. I believe he had four or five kids.
oh,
Seemed like they
fantastic.
did okay. So,
Yeah,
a
seemed like.
life well lived.
Oh my gosh, seemed like a real decent. I always wondered about Suzanne Plachette.
She
Uh,
died maybe 10 years ago. Well, she was a smoker. I think the smoking got her. Yeah, sad. Yeah. She
oh,
died in her early 70s, I think.
oh wow. So she was, yeah.
I always liked her too. She was good. She was like in an Alfred Hitchcock movie, The Birds, and she was like
Oh,
a movie
wow.
actress, and then she got into TV. Yeah, she was good.
She
Yeah,
was very pretty.
very
Yeah,
pretty. Sure, yeah, right.
I liked
She used
her,
to go on
and
Johnny Carson a lot, and she was a good guest. She was kind of a little earthy, but not
yeah,
dirty. A little earthy and told good stories. And yeah,
absolutely.
she wound up marrying one of the characters on the Newhart Show, Tom Poston. Remember
Okay.
Tom Poston who played the handyman on the second series?
Yeah. Oh my
They got
gosh.
married. I think her wife or her husband died, and his wife died, and they got married like later in life. So that was nice.
Oh, that is so nice. Oh my gosh. Yeah, I always wondered if she had any children.
I don't think she had any kids. No, no.
Because I
I
never
think she
heard
was
about.
married to Troy Donahue at one point. Remember that actor Troy Donahue? I think she was married to him.
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
Yeah, Troy Donahue or Tab Hunter, one of the two, one of those guys she was married to. Somebody will
Okay.
put it in the comments, I'm sure.
Oh, it's
And she
interesting.
was married
Yeah.
to another guy that he died, and then she and Tom Poston wound up getting married. So the last, what, 8 years of his life, or her life. I'm not sure who passed away first, but I think she
Oh,
passed away first. Yeah.
and that is really great though that they had each other and
Yeah. So it's kind of interesting that because he appeared on the old show too. He was like Bob's friend from college or something
oh my
in the old
gosh.
show. Well, not every week, but once in a while he'd show up.
What's
So, yeah. I think
wow.
that kind of might have rekindled. Well, I think it's rekindled. Maybe because they knew each other. They said back in the '50s, and
Okay.
then they got together whenever that was in the '90s, maybe, or whenever they got
Oh
married. I'm not sure when it
wow.
was.
Yeah. That is so interesting.
Well, nice. Yeah.
Oh my God. It's great when that happens. Yeah, there were so many of the characters like the neighbor of the Hartleys, the guy, the pilot, or the guy that lived across the
Yeah.
hall.
Howard, the neighbor, Bill Daly,
Yeah.
who was, of course, Major Healy on I Dream of Jeannie,
Oh my gosh, that was funny. He
who
was
was
so
Larry Hagman's buddy in the Air Force.
yeah, it was
JR. All
funny.
ties together.
Oh my God. Yeah, it's so weird how you see like these people again, like in
Yeah.
different series and they come up again. It's wonderful though. It's great to
Yep.
and and they
An
and they
era in TV that I don't think is coming back anytime
uh,
soon. Maybe it will, but I kind of doubt it.
that was great. It was, I agree with you, Doug. It was the 70s, 80s, even great times.
Well, you into the early '90s, and then it all kind of fell apart.
Yeah, yeah.
Hopefully, it'll
It
come back.
was. I'll be honest. I don't watch as much TV. I watch a lot of things
I
like
haven't watched a scripted show, a new scripted show. I don't know. Maybe Law and Order might have been the last one.
yeah,
I stopped watching that a long time ago.
yeah,
'Cause it got,
yeah.
so yeah, basically, you and I watch
I
Freevee, Tubi, Roku, the classic shows. You and I
just
watch those.
absolutely like shows that, and it's really I've been even watching The Guiding Light and some of the soap
The old
operas
soap operas,
from
right?
CBS. I love them. They are just. It's so wonderful to see the old Guiding Light from the 80s,
Yeah.
some 70s. It's fantastic. And really good acting. My mom always thought they were great at the soap operas had great acting.
Soap
Uh,
operas back then, you had to have a little acting ability. I don't know. There's only 3 or 4 left on the air. I don't know if they're any good anymore, but yeah.
yeah, I haven't even turned one on in so long. Yeah, I heard All My Children
Yeah,
was
I think there's only a couple on CBS, maybe one or two on ABC. General Hospital might still be on, and
Wow.
I think there's only 4 left. So
Wow.
anyway, but we'll
Wow.
wrap it up there. We just want to say thank you,
Absolutely.
Bob Newhart,
Thank you,
for all
Bob.
the laughs.
Yes. My parents love you too.
Yep,
Yes.
same with mine.
Absolutely.
And we'll wrap it up with this edition. So thanks for watching, everybody.
Thank you.
We'll see you soon.
See you soon.